has already been a year since we started living full-time on the road. And I gotta say, we have learned a lot about gear, about responsible and irresponsible spending, and about making awesome adventure and destination choices.
So today, we're gonna give you guys a full and honest breakdown of what's worked, what hasn't, whether or not we're going broke with a full financial breakdown, and the 5 most important lessons we've learned along the way. Okay, lesson number 1. When you're traveling full time, you always have to have backup power. We travel with a lot of gear, but the clear MVP of year 1 is definitely the Jackery portable power station and the solar charger. This little guy right here.
I love him. He's our little buddy.
It has saved us so many times.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Do you remember that crazy blizzard we got stuck in Tahoe?
Oh my God, you guys. This thing came out of nowhere. I mean, it didn't come out of nowhere. There was snow forecast, but not this much snow.
No.
We were completely buried.
And we were car camping.
We were car camping, completely buried in snow. And
it was so cold.
well, we were up at like 9,000 feet.
Yeah.
And it was so cold, and we had just a little portable heater. Plugged it into this bad boy.
It was amazing, miraculous technology. I was like, I am so stoked that we are living in 2025.
Yeah, because we were warm throughout a freezing night.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we just recharged it the next day in a snowstorm, by the way, which I didn't know that it could do, but you can actually solar recharge in a storm.
It's wild.
You can't do it at night. It has to be during the day. But in a storm, yes, you can. And so for really 2 days, we had warmth and power, even though we were buried in a blizzard. That was dope.
That was so awesome.
One time, I was literally in the middle of an important appointment. And this was also in Tahoe, but we were staying in an Airbnb. And the power went out. It was a huge windstorm. It knocked out all the power. I'm in the middle of the appointment. And Elise heroically goes outside, sets up the Starlink with the Jackery, right? And
it was crazy. I was battling all the elements. I had things flying off balconies and hitting me in the head.
Oh, that flower pot.
Yeah, a flower pot like flew off a balcony, hit me in the head. But I was like, I will soldier through. I set up the Jackery, I set up the Starlink. Adam got back on his call. You didn't lose any money that day.
No, I got back on that call and I had 2 other calls. And it was about maybe an 8-minute delay total. And then we were just back online and going. The same thing in reverse happened literally 2 weeks ago when we were preparing for Lost Coast. Do you remember?
We were in Shelter Cove.
We were in Shelter Cove. And we were in this really beautiful Airbnb, but the internet went out.
Oh my goodness. I'm really thinking this is about to save my butt right now.
The internet is just out. And so we're just getting ourselves set up. We got 106 watts of power coming in from the solar. The Starlink is only taking 50 watts.
Wait, that is so awesome.
I know. So it's just going to be like, this thing's going to be fully charged at night if we need it, but what you really need it is for your work today. And it was an emergency situation because we only had about half an hour to get the Starlink up and running. Everything is going, everything is rocking.
Let's do it. I just love this thing so much. Especially, I mean, the whole point of us being on the road also with this lifestyle is that we're continuing to work. So I just literally could not do this lifestyle unless I knew for sure that I would always be able to work.
That's right. So the thing of it is, it's not just having backup power when you're in an Airbnb. Also, I'm sure you guys remember when we were in Colorado and we were just boondocking out in the wild. I mean, you can't live in the wild and work unless you have solar power.
Yeah.
That's just a necessity. But I would really say it's just great for, I didn't realize how great it was going to be for when we were in Airbnbs or motels. There was that motel in Idaho.
Oh yeah.
That just, their internet just didn't work.
You just don't know. Living on the road, you just don't know. You cannot rely on power or internet wherever you're staying because you might be staying in the middle of nowhere, no cell towers, nothing. If you have your Jackery, you're always good to go.
As long as you have the solar too. I would get the solar too.
Yeah, I would say so.
You know what I mean? Because especially I really learned that with our heating thing in Tahoe in that snowstorm, because the heater runs the battery down, because heaters take a lot of energy. So it's really, really nice to be able to recharge it. So after a full year on the road, 100% if there's one piece of gear that you gotta have, it is portable power. The Jackery is great. The Solar is great. Even if you just like to do weekend adventures, you still want to have that power. It can really save you.
Mm-hmm. They're actually having a huge sale this week for Prime Day. So, yeah.
Do it.
Do it.
We'll put a link. We always put a gear link to any gear that we love.
Actually, I'll put a pin comment with the link to it.
Do that. Pin comment. Perfect.
Pin comment.
Yeah. So this is the moment. Get it. In terms of other essential gear that's been great, the Starlink has been really, really useful. The Subaru Outback has been incredible.
I love our Subi so much.
The Thule car carrier.
Oh, we have to have a car top carrier. There's no way. With how much stuff we travel with.
Yeah. And so, we put, I think, over 20,000 miles this year on the Subi. Not a single problem. Yeah. Not a single problem with the Thule. So those have been great.
I'm glad we didn't end up getting the souped up version of the Subi. This was the right version for us. We just had the regular one.
We had the regular one because it gets better gas mileage, and that's been crucial, as we'll get to when we talk about finances. In terms of our smaller kind of adventure gear, for me, the biggest thing has been not only poles. You guys know I love poles. They've been useful in so many situations. I can't even count them. But also a pole quiver. Highly recommend the pole quiver. You guys have probably seen Elise more than once, because she often forgets her pole quiver. Having to climb up something dicey with her poles in her hand.
I was like, what a nab. Look at that loser climbing with her poles.
So I think poles and pole quiver, that's my number one recommendation for adventure gear. Not so much travel gear, but just when you're out on the adventure. I think poles plus pole quiver, really don't leave home without it.
Do you know what mine is?
Oh, your helmet for sure.
My helmet. Oh, I love this thing. Oh, my helmet. If you haven't seen the Mount Wilson video, watch the Mount Wilson video. This helmet saved my life, 100%. It's a Petzl helmet. I love this one. But now I won't go anywhere without it. Any climbing adventure we do, I'm bringing the helmet, and I have no shame wearing it.
I think you're going to start wearing it out to dinner.
I might. You're so lucky.
No, I agree. I also, even though I haven't had a fall this year, because of Elise's, I have a new appreciation for helmets.
Yeah.
Highly recommend everybody use a helmet in rock fall or potential U-fall areas. All right, that's it for all the positives on gear, I think. Negatives?
What about this sea to summit sleeping mat disaster?
Oh, guys.
Didn't go well.
It went well for you. So it's a very, very comfortable sleeping mat. It's the most comfortable, and it's very useful. It's very portable. It's all these good things. So that's why we bought it. It's highly, highly rated. But mine just keeps getting punctured.
Why is it yours, though, that keeps getting punctured?
I think because I'm heavy, and I probably sleep like a big dinosaur.
You do dinosaur when you sleep. So you think it's like flipping back and forth, you're like jamming it into a rock and it's getting punctured or something?
Maybe. It's been the biggest disappointment this year, because it's like I'll go to sleep on it and I'll patch it. You know what I mean? I'll patch the hole. And then I'll go to sleep. I'll have it all blown up. I'll be like, okay, it's good. And I'll go to sleep just fine. It's comfortable. And then in the middle of the night, I will wake up on like hard, rocky ground. My hip just digging into the ground. The thing's deflated.
I mean, look at this. We blew this up fully and it's like already...
Yeah. So that has been a disappointment. I'll be interested to hear if you guys have any recommendations for something that's as comfortable and as sort of utile as that doesn't puncture as easily.
Yeah.
Because that's been a bummer.
It's hard to find. We've been doing so much research and we haven't come up with any great options yet.
Yeah, but I'm tired of waking up on cold, hard ground.
You don't deserve that.
I do not.
Lesson number 2, and this will take us from talking about gear to talking about our finances, and it's mindful spending. So the general concept is spending on things that really truly bring us joy and letting go, cutting costs with everything else.
You guys might remember from our 6-month check-in that we have been doing a really good job with cutting our costs in terms of housing. Both in terms of boondocking, which is free, staying with friends, which is free, and also just getting kind of low-cost motels or Airbnbs and things like that. So those costs were much lower than we had even anticipated, but unfortunately, I had completely blown our budget out of the water with my food spending. And sometimes that's a good thing. If you're getting like the most delicious sandwich in the world, which we got the other day.
Just did. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
What was it called? Agora.
Agora.
Artisan sandwiches.
What town was that in?
Grants Pass, Oregon.
Grants Pass, Oregon.
Agora.
Agora.
So good.
The best sandwiches in the world. That is fine. It's fine to spend on something incredible like that. Mm-hmm. But just when you're hungry and feeling lazy and you walk into a gas station and you walk out with $45 worth of muscle milk and beef jerky, like a $29 thing of jerky, that's terrible spending.
Yeah.
Terrible spending. So over the last 6 months, I think we've done a much better job at being intentional. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We had spent above $12,000 on food costs the first 6 months.
Okay.
This last 6 months, we spent under 10. Just under, but under 10.
Okay.
So that's pretty good.
So we cut out a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. Like so we're like at 9,600 for this 6 months.
Yeah.
And it was over 12,000 for the first 6 months.
I think it will continue to get better as well. I've really noticed you making cognizant changes. So we kind of, like, we had a really expensive steak dinner when we went out in Vegas. But afterwards, we sat down and we talked about it. And I was like, Adam, did that bring you as much joy as you thought it would? And I don't think it did, right?
No, I think we're out on really expensive dinners for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Unless it's something you feel like you really have to try and you've really thought it through. You're not just going because you think it's a thing to do.
Right. What I really love is discovering really cool things, like that restaurant Agora, the artisan sandwich place.
There was like $17.
Yeah. Or smoked tacos.
Oh my gosh, smoked tacos in where were we? St.
Utah.
George, Utah.
Smoked tacos in St. George, Utah.
Yeah.
I mean, both of you can gorge yourselves for under $20 a piece.
Yeah.
And they are incredible.
Yeah.
So it's finding gems like that are very affordable, avoiding expensive dinners out, avoiding any gas. I have cut the gas station food budget to basically zero.
That's amazing.
I just go to the store and I make sure I have stuff packed. So when I'm hungry on the road, I just grab something there. I don't buy food in gas stations.
We have to have Adam snacks with us at all times.
We do, because I need to snack a lot. Mm-hmm. But that's been really crucial. Mm-hmm. So even with Vegas and also taking a couple of friends out to dinner, which was kind of expensive, we're still well under 10K. And we could easily be, I think, under 8 for 6 months, which would be under 16,000 a year, which is pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're well on our way there. Now, with accommodations, that has gone up significantly from I think it was about 12,300 the first 6 months, because it was winter and we were in Tahoe and we were staying in Airbnbs, and those are expensive. And also, as you'll remember, we went to Kauai.
We did go to Kauai.
That's just expensive. That also upped our food budget. Just buying food in the grocery store was incredibly expensive there. But the Airbnb there was very expensive. You might be wondering, well, why aren't you camping? Because it's hard for us both to work when we're camping. So yes, we're spending more by getting an Airbnb in the winter, but we can't be freezing and trying to work. There's no way that's going to happen.
That's also part of the mindful spending, though. We've really thought about this, and we've thought also about what helps us to live in harmony with each other. And sometimes it really is just worth it to spend a little bit more on an Airbnb where we can each have our own space. I can work all day if I need to, and I don't need to bother Adam to get out of the room because of my HIPAA rules. It's just made things a lot more peaceful sometimes to spend that extra bit of money and then not spend extra eating out. I think it's a good trade-off.
So with all that, our accommodations costs have actually gone up by more than our food costs went down.
Sad.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But it's not unfortunate, guys, because think of where we were. Tahoe, Kauai, Tahoe.
Yeah.
Vegas was awesome.
Yeah.
So we've been in these great places, really comfortable Airbnbs during the winter, and doing things that we love doing, and also getting our work done.
Yeah.
So it's okay that the cost went up. I think Elise will be happy because what it means, we had a bet that I thought we would be able to be under $90,000 for the year. Total expenses on every single thing.
I thought there was no way.
So Elise was correct.
I was correct.
Our total expenses for the year
Darn.
came in at about $96,300.
No.
$96,300.
Wait, really? Oh my gosh. That's a lot.
It is a lot, but again, part of that is because we're still working.
True. Okay. Yeah.
If we weren't working, we wouldn't need 2 bedrooms, one, and so we're earning more than that and still putting money away. If we're fully retired, we're not going to be probably in an Airbnb in Kauai. We could go to South America. We could go, you know what I mean? We could really defray costs more easily than we can do while we're working.
That's the one bet I did not want to win. What do I win?
I don't know.
A smaller bank account. Woot, woot.
All right. With that said, though, here is the good news. Because we are still working, we have still been able to put money away into our dividend funds and bond funds. And so our passive income has gone up significantly this year.
That's good.
Yeah. It's $63,000 a year.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. So our spending, 96, our passive income, 63. So that's just a $33,000 difference that we would need to make up if we were to be fully retired and wanted to have this exact lifestyle.
Okay.
But we wouldn't need as expensive Airbnbs if we were fully retired.
Right, so we could slash some of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And then we've also made some money on YouTube this year.
Yeah, largely thanks to our members. You all, we love you so much. We're so grateful.
Thank you guys so much for subscribing, for liking our videos, for becoming members. It's just all really, really helpful. And granted, it mostly just helps us defray expenses on gear and...
Gear is so expensive. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not like we're raking in the dough on the YouTube. Yeah, it's mostly like gas. When we eat out, like if we've had a really hard hike and we'll get some grub after, we always say, hey, this is like on our subscribers or on our members.
Yes, so you guys treat us to at least one dinner.
Yeah.
I would say one dinner a month. And I think it basically covers our gas prices, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Because we spend a lot on gas.
Yeah. So y'all keep the adventures alive. Thank you.
Thank you. So just to recap, mindful spending has been a really important lesson for us this year. Gas station food does not bring me joy. That unbelievable sandwich at Agora, I'm still talking about it. I've been calling my friends and telling them about it.
He's calling everyone he knows. Now he's telling you guys. You'll probably never hear the end of it.
Drinks at a great dive bar. That brings me joy.
Yeah, like how we met up with some subscribers in Tahoe. That was so fun.
So fun. So thinking about spending on things that bring you joy. Doing Kalalau Trail. Yes, that trip to Hawaii was expensive.
And even like getting all the shuttles and reservations for Kalalau was not cheap.
It's not cheap.
Yeah.
But doing that, it's been on the bucket list for years and years. It was awesome. Along with some of the other Kauai hikes.
And those all, thinking back on them, still bring us so much joy. Just even thinking of them. So that's how you know you spent right.
Exactly. So it hasn't been a cheap year, but wow, have we been just ticking things off the bucket list and just learning how to enjoy ourselves in a relatively frugal way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially for me with food. I'm cooking a lot.
I know.
And just finding really delicious places that aren't super expensive, and it's been great.
And that actually leads us perfectly into lesson 3, which is less is more.
Guys, when we started this trip, we had way too much stuff.
I can't believe that. We still have way too much stuff.
We still have way too much, but we are cutting it down piece by piece by piece. Way too many clothes. Just, we brought clothes for every eventuality, I feel like.
I know.
Especially we were thinking, oh, we might be seeing friends, we might be wanting to go out to dinner. I had like some dress type clothes, and forget about it. Now, my dressiest thing is this pair of jeans. I have one button-up shirt.
I'm definitely that girl that is traveling all over the US in my yoga pants. I met up with our subscribers at the dive bar in my yoga pants. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I have one dress and the rest is just really my hiking clothes.
As we travel, if you guys want to meet up with us, you can pretty much expect us to be wearing exactly this. But if it's somewhere that is a little nicer, I have one button-up shirt that I will put on.
You'll get so lucky. You'll see his button-up. You wait.
And that less is more philosophy doesn't just go for stuff like clothes. It also goes for adventures. Because when we started, we were trying to do way too many things too fast. Right?
Oh my gosh, we were doing at one point like 3 hikes, really big hikes per week, which...
There were so many things we wanted to do. Just for example, we did Mount Russell,
Honeymoon Lake,
and Ray Lakes. That's a massive sufferfest. That is Ray Lakes in a day, okay? All of that in the span of less than 2 weeks.
It was crazy.
It was too much. And like my body kind of started to break down. My back was really hurting. We had to take some time off, and it was stressful. Even though the adventures were incredible. And so we just learned to say, all right, at most one big adventure per week. Sometimes if it's going to be a really big and hard one on your body, maybe one every 2 or 3 weeks. And then an easier one, something like a waterfall hike where we can jump in a waterfall and just something beautiful.
Just enjoy.
Yeah. And I think that's been really, really useful, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the in terms of less is more, because you have more energy, you have more focus. It's just more fun when you're not overextended.
It feels better just to have your body feel strong and energetic and truly get to just live in the moment out on the mountain.
Now, it sounds easy to do that, but it's actually not that easy, especially when you're someone like Elise who has a lot of FOMO. Because I swear, I'm always like, Elise, less is more. And Elise's like, yeah, but there's this one, and there's this one, and there's this one. I'm like, we can't do all of that.
We can't.
And it's really hard for you to narrow it down and pick something.
It is really hard, yeah. Less is more leads perfectly into our 4th lesson, which is when in doubt, slow it down. So we were moving way too fast, not in terms of just how many adventures we were doing at first. We were also just going from one place to the next way too fast when we first started this life. It was crazy.
Yeah, we were just really moving. We'd spend like a week here, 3 days here, 4 days here. It was exhausting. And it was exciting, but quickly we found that it was depleting us in a way that is just not sustainable full time. And so what we discovered is that if we just pick a great location, like we learned this with Tahoe really well. Bishop, same thing. Mammoth is another location that's great. There's just a lot of great locations. If you pick a great place, you can be there for a month and really get to know it, find a gym that you can work out, and still be out doing plenty of adventures in that area without constantly having to pick up and move.
Yeah, it's been really just such a great lesson learned. And not to mention, Airbnb is way cheaper if you book by the month rather than by like a couple days or a week. So we're getting a lot of discounts that way.
Yes. And so in summer, we'll probably do a little bit more traveling and a little bit less of the monthly because we want to boondock, stay with people, cover a little more ground. But in the winter or the rainy months, getting monthly Airbnbs is definitely going to be the future. And last but not least, lesson number 5, always get the beta, but don't always trust the beta.
100%. And this, I think, applies to both hiking and climbing adventures, but also to larger themes like where you're planning to stay, accommodations, that sort of thing. I think a really great example of this, and a place we totally messed up but learned our lesson this year, was booking our Tahoe ski cabin in January without getting the beta on ski passes. Miraculously, both of us, not just one of us, but both of us made the assumption that ski passes for the season would be cheaper if we bought them later in the season. It just seemed like intuitive to us. Obviously, we were dumb.
It seemed super obvious that you could get ski passes whenever, and that it would be better to get the season pass later, or at least the same. No. They don't sell season passes after a certain date. So we had this Airbnb right at the base of Heavenly Ski Slope, and we could not get a Heavenly Ski Pass.
It was such a fail.
Such a fail, but it was a great learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. You just need to get all the information. Don't assume you know it. Get the information.
Yeah.
So then we really did start getting information, and you guys helped us with this. When we went back to Tahoe for spring skiing, we knew that you could buy passes for the next year and use them for spring skiing.
Mm-hmm.
So we not only got our passes for next year's ski season, but we were able to have a whole month of spring skiing for free, basically, based on those passes.
It was awesome.
So having that information was really, really useful. And it was certainly a lesson learned in terms of not making assumptions when it comes to travel plans. And of course, this lesson also applies to individual adventures, hikes, climbs. The obvious example is Mount Wilson. The beta that was online made it look like there was a pretty easy and obvious class 4 route through the slabs toward the top. We had a GPX file, so we're like, well, we can just follow this, it'll be fine. And we have the pictures. Guys, we got on this thing, and it didn't look anything like the pictures.
Mm-mm.
The GPX file didn't do the class 4 route through, whatever that was. It just went straight up the class 5 slabs. And we ended up following that, but never again.
Mm-mm.
In future, I will get the beta, but I will not necessarily trust the beta. I will be completely ready for a beta fail. Mm-hmm. Whether that means bringing harnesses and equipment, or whether it means being just really prepared to turn around, even if you're near the summit, mm-hmm. if it's not working. But that was a huge lesson for me. In yes, we're very, very good actually at marshaling all the beta when it comes to individual adventures, but it doesn't mean you can always trust it.
All right. So those are the 5 most important lessons we learned on our first year living full-time on the road.
Lesson number 1, always, always, always have backup power. I don't care if you're boondocking completely in the wild or if you're in what looks like a really trustworthy Airbnb. Mm-hmm. You might need that backup power.
100%. Yeah. Number 2, spend mindfully. Think about what truly brings you joy, spend on that, and then cut everything else.
Speaking of cutting, lesson number 3, less is more. If you're thinking about large trips or full-time travel, just bring less than you think you need. Of course you need the essentials, a water filter or whatever, but you do not need tons and tons of clothes. There are laundromats out there.
Number 4, slow it down. Think about spending a month or more at a time in a single place to really re-energize and truly enjoy the place where you're staying.
And you can kind of start to see how these lessons tie together. Mm-hmm. Slow it down kind of goes along with mindful spending if you think about it. It's mindful spending of your time.
Ooh, I like that.
Right? Because you're not just fire hosing your time every direction. You're saying, where would we really love to be for a whole month? Mm-hmm. And mindfully selecting it.
I love that.
So these are really kind of all connected.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then lesson number 5, get the beta. But don't always trust the beta.
Don't do it.
Be ready for anything, in other words, especially if you're out on an adventure that could get dicey.
Mm-hmm. So as always, we would love to hear from you. We want to know what questions, thoughts you have about anything we talked about today.
We feel so fortunate to have this community with you guys. We've learned so much from you guys. We hope you're learning from us too. And let's just keep that going. Ask us anything you want. I cannot wait to share the next full-time year on the road with you.
Woohoo! And we'll see you next time.
See you next time out on the trails.